Welcome to Together for Business with host Jennifer Berg, Marketing and Communications Director for the Fort Myers Regional Partnership. Join us as we explore economic development in our region and its vital role in attracting new businesses, expanding existing ones, and creating desirable high-paying jobs. How it benefits our schools, colleges, and universities, helps expand local infrastructure, and, most importantly, improves the quality of life for everyone who lives here.
Welcome to Together for Business. Thank you for joining us. Tonight I have Betsy Allen, who is with the Southwest Regional Manufacturers Association. Betsy, I understand that you have recently become the new Executive Director of the Manufacturers Association?
Yes, as of June 1st.
Okay, so you're in and you're running, and I was hoping you could tell us more about the organization, how it's structured, some of your members, just anything you can share with us.
Certainly. Southwest Regional Manufacturers Association is built around the foundation of, first of all, education. So we need to have an educated workforce that is ready to work in manufacturing and really understands that manufacturing is no longer a smokestack, that it's a pretty clean job that requires some highly technical skills to be successful. And then the second part of it is partnering with the Horizon Council and the Industrial Development Authority to fuel economic growth in the manufacturing sector in Southwest Florida.
What are some of the interesting trends that you're seeing in manufacturing as you're talking to some of the businesses here in Southwest Florida that are in manufacturing?
I'm seeing lots of growth in our membership, and our membership ranges from one of our major employers like Shaw Development to someone like S4J, who is on a much smaller scale. So there's tremendous growth in that sector all over this nation. I think there's almost a trend to bring manufacturing back to the United States. If some of my clients in my other life are any indication, they're oftentimes bringing manufacturing that used to be done over in Korea or China, and they're bringing it back to the US. So it's a really good sign. There's been numerous articles written. One I read most recently that you might be interested in was Life Sciences. They need a Silicon Valley. So it was an article all about how there is going to be a place chosen somewhere in the United States that is going to become a hub for life sciences. And we'd like it to be Southwest Florida.
As you're talking to the manufacturers that you work with, do they talk to you about why they choose to be here in Southwest Florida and what's beneficial as a manufacturer to being in this location?
They definitely move here for the weather, for the most part, and enjoy the weather. In terms of our association, what we are able to help them with is to connect them more with what's going on in Orlando and Tallahassee, et cetera, because as the Southwest Regional Manufacturers Association, we're also a member of the Manufacturers Association of Florida, and they do a lot of lobbying in Tallahassee for us. As a matter of fact, a few years back, got some really exciting tax incentives for the manufacturing sector. And they, again, help fuel education. They have a program that we're going to hear about at our next meeting, which is August 8th, Dream It, Do It, which is all about manufacturers adopting a high school. And by adopting a high school, they agree to have a presence in that high school, to accept interns from that high school, to introduce high school students to what manufacturing is all about today, which is very different than what manufacturing was all about when their parents were growing up.
And I think that's a wonderful opportunity. We hear a lot about STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and math education, and all the resources that are going in that direction. And I know that a lot of your manufacturers are working already with the school district, bringing the students into their place of business and helping them understand those real-world opportunities.
Absolutely.
And through the Horizon Council, we're also working on a teacher advisory council where the teachers and the administrators of the career and technical academies can also go into visit with the manufacturers. So it's great to see the kinds of collaborations that are happening.
Yes, as a matter of fact, you're going to hear from Matt Chambers next. He's adopted the Edison Collegiate High School, so has a presence there as well as accepting interns, and they tour his operations. So Yes, there is a lot, and we have, there was a call out from the Manufacturing Association of Florida to try to get 25 manufacturers in Florida to adopt a high school. 7 of our members have adopted a high school, so we're going to have a real hub of that Dream It, Do It.
And how long do you foresee that that program would go on with adopting the high school?
I think it's never ending.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's an ongoing program that was initiated last year.
And this would this also be an opportunity to mentor the students or to find potential future workforce?
Absolutely, absolutely. As a matter of fact, Jennifer, at our last meeting was yesterday, but the meeting before that was June 26th. Yeah. And there we launched with Southwest Florida Works a pre-machining class, which will be held, and the idea is to introduce people to manufacturing, and it'll be held at the Institutes of Technology, the Fort Myers one, Immokalee, and then the Lorenzo Walker Institute in Naples. And there, what our manufacturers agreed to do was, if someone goes through that program and gets that certificate, and it's highly supported by WRXY, by the way, they were the ones to really push for this. If they graduate with a certificate, our manufacturers have agreed, assuming they have a position requiring those skills, that they will interview someone with one of those certificates. So there's a lot of support for the ongoing education of people entering the manufacturing arena.
Recently, I had interviewed Dr. Bradshaw from Florida Gulf Coast University, and he talked about the partnership between all the superintendents and all the heads of the universities in the region, and that continuum of education from K through 12 up through higher education. And it's very encouraging for me to see that there's that continuum also from the education programs into the business community, and that the business community is also being proactive in looking at what our community is going to look like in the future.
Yes, one of the things that I did taking over this directorship is I'm beginning to benchmark what we're doing with our association here with some of the northern cities that have been, deeply entrenched in manufacturing for quite some time, and figuring out ways that we might be able to partner with them. We also partner with the South Florida Manufacturing Association, which is over in the Fort Lauderdale region, and a group of us will be all hop in our cars and go to their annual meeting so that we might create a similar type of annual meeting here in Southwest Florida. And what they do is they honor several businesses with an award similar to what the Manufacturers Association of Florida does, but they do it on a local level, then fueling and feeding candidates to get the Florida-wide award as well. And so we will be modeling our program after theirs and initiate an annual awards banquet in January of 2013, honoring the manufacturer of the year from the previous year, but also manufacturing employees. We think it's really an opportunity for manufacturers to nominate particular employees that have done things of recognition.
When we look at economic diversification in Southwest Florida, many times we see a company from the Northeast or the Midwest may not relocate their entire operation, but they'll start a new division of their company here in Southwest Florida.
Yes.
Do you see synergies and opportunities with the Manufacturers Association and our office?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, one of the first things I did taking over this job, and since you're a marketing whiz, you'll understand why, I surveyed the members. And one of the things we captured was, what association meetings do you attend and or get an expo booth at? And the idea is that we are promoting Southwest Florida when we're at these national shows. So for example, I was just at the Society of Biotech and Medical Device Trainers, and that would be a great opportunity because a lot of those medical device companies, they invent something new and they need to have a second manufacturing facility for it, so why not make it Southwest Florida?
You know, one of the things I'm encouraged by is there are so many synergies. There is so much collaboration between the educators, between the Manufacturers Association and the technology partnerships, and it's wonderful to see us all going in that same direction and looking at the future of Southwest Florida and the kinds of industries we're going to have here.
Yes.
If there was a viewer that's in manufacturing that might be interested in being part of the Manufacturers Association, we will have a link to your website, but how could they get involved, and are you looking for new members?
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, we had 5 prospective members at yesterday's meeting, so we are definitely looking for additional members, and what we know is that there are thousands of manufacturers in Southwest Florida. Many of them operate kind of under the radar screen, so please come to our website, get added to our mailing list so you get our weekly constant contact messages, which tell you not only things that are happening in Southwest Florida, but I also make sure to link to everything that's happening statewide so you can get involved at the level that you want to get involved at. Okay. But there's an application that you can download right from the website. In terms of growth, Jennifer, one of the reasons that I wanted to assume this executive directorship was not only seeing an opportunity for more partnerships, but also an opportunity to basically duplicate with the Manufacturers Association what I've successfully done with my coaching clients, which is in some cases doubled the size of their business. I've got one client that I just presented at that society meeting in June, where in 24 months, through concerted efforts and a reinvention of their entire selling process, as well as how they're managing people, et cetera, gone from 100 million to 200 million in sales. So wouldn't it be wonderful if we could double the size of this association in that period of time?
We've got a couple of minutes before we meet with Matt Chambers from JRL Ventures Marine Concepts. But I think it's very interesting that if you become a part of this organization, there's a lot of synergy, there's a lot of best practices. Just in closing, what do you think is the major advantage to being part of an organization like the Manufacturers Association?
I think the connection with people who are doing business, like businesses, is really critical for professional development. So to stay in touch with, a Matt Chambers might talk to a Kevin Hawksworth from Shaw Development and share a problem and be able to collaborate together to figure out not only how to solve their own problem, but perhaps recognize that that same problem might exist for others. So let's bring someone in to be one of our speakers that could help us take our business to the next level. And that's what we want to do with each of our meetings.
Well, Betsy, I really appreciate you joining us today, and we will have all the information about the Manufacturers Association on the Together for Business website, and I'm very much looking forward to talking with Matt and learning more about an individual manufacturer here, because I think a lot of people don't realize the exciting things that are happening in manufacturing right here in Southwest Florida.
And thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate that you thought of us.
Thank you, Betsy. I appreciate it very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Together, our region is working hard to attract new businesses, expand existing ones, and help create much sought-after, high-paying jobs. Together, we've improved our schools and formed partnerships with our colleges and universities to fully prepare our workforce for the future. Together, we're working to expand our airports, healthcare networks, and our overall infrastructure to help meet the needs of a growing community. Together, our public and private organizations are actively marketing successful companies to locate their businesses here with grants, incentives, job training, and less red tape. We do this because the exceptional quality of life we all enjoy here isn't just because of our outstanding weather. It's dependent on a vibrant business climate too. With that goal in mind, around here, one thing's for sure. Together, we mean business.
Thank you for joining us again. Our next guest is Matt Chambers. He is the president of JRL Ventures Marine Concepts. Matt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks for having us here.
So we heard from Betsy. We heard all about the Southwest Regional Manufacturers Association, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from you, because I really don't think that a lot of people think that we have the exciting manufacturers that we have in Southwest Florida. So what's the story with JRL Ventures? How did you come to be in Southwest Florida? Why are you here?
Well, we've actually been here for over 35 years. Company started as Marine Concepts, just a handful of employees, no computers, for the recreational marine industry. The gentleman that started the company wanted to outsource the engineering and the tooling for the recreational marine companies so they didn't have to have it internal to their organizations. 16 years ago, Bob Long purchased the company, and I joined it 7 years ago. And since then, we've grown to, we're back to 135 employees right now. We're at 140 pre-recession, but we service